I want to be so honest with you. I don't want to do this episode. I don't want to have this conversation about the current state of the feminine. I really don't want to do this. When I felt into this week's episode, this is the only thing that came. It is the only thing that I feel any kind of juice around, any kind of energy, any kind of passion around is this current state of the feminine. And I don't like it. But I'm going to show up anyways, and I'm going to share with you anything that I can, everything that I can. The aim of this conversation is to give anyone, tools to work with the feminine now, like today's day and age, practices to work with the feminine, things for you to feel into that might be like really specific to your unique path with the feminine. Something I want to say right off the bat is it doesn't have to be your own cultivation of the feminine within you. It might be that you're here to learn more and understand more about the feminine outside of you, the feminine in others, the feminine in the world, the feminine in the collective, the feminine in your lover, in your partner, right? It's way beyond just women, way beyond gender, way beyond just women and our own feminine, like way beyond that. So I just kind of want to blow up that paradigm. I want to really open our minds, open our hearts, right? Open all of the, I don't know. When we start to talk about feminine, which is what we're doing in this whole conversation, practices and things for you to feel into and ways to work with the current feminine energetics that are available to you, right? That are available to us. When we start to dive into this, we have to go beyond the mind. The feminine is not left brain logical. The feminine is intuitive. The feminine is unseen energetics. The feminine is transmission. The feminine is heart wisdom. The feminine is womb wisdom. The feminine is body wisdom. The feminine is life force moving through us. The feminine is a gnosis or a knowing or feels, right? That's the feminine. And so in sharing that right there, that's kind of my invitation to allow that to be active in you. Allow this wisdom to be active in you. So it's almost like feminine wisdom in me speaks to the feminine wisdom in you, right? And so there's a conversation happening underneath the mind conversation. An invitation to allow multiple conversations to be happening during our time together, right? It's a heart conversation. It's a body wisdom conversation. It's a life force conversation. It's a Shakti. Shakti is another way of kind of talking about life force energy or divine feminine wisdom energy, right? It's like my Shakti talks to your Shakti. All the while, for sure, our minds are involved, but allowing more to be involved in this conversation. The more that we can do that, the more you'll get out of this, I promise you. The more that you can be fully present and just here, the more you can be here with heart open, body open, less distractions, less of your energy leaking out into other things, right? The more that we are able to contain the enormous amount of Shakti that is available to open up in your system during this episode. That sounds crazy, I know, but that is the current state of the feminine energy right now. It can wake up so quickly and it can wake up so strangely, right? And it's not just a one wake up. It's a many different awakenings to the feminine, like more and more. It's not one and done by any means. And so maybe feeling into, if I were going to have an enormous feminine awakening while listening to this podcast, how can I set myself up for that? You might want to pause here, get in the bathtub. You might want to go outside, listen to the audio version of this while taking a walk in nature. You might want to change your clothes, light a candle, put the curtains down, lie on the floor, right? Like, what if we were to just really allow the current state of the feminine, which is the possibility of awakening to enormous amounts of life force, enormous amounts of wisdom, embodied wisdom, enormous amounts of it, like that. It's fucking quick. It can be so quick, and we don't have to journey to the other side of the world. We don't have to take external chemicals for it to happen. We don't have to, right, do all of these things. It can literally, if we just set the intention. But it's like we have to show up, and we have to show up with mind, body, soul. And this is an opportunity to show up right now, but we have to make the choice, right? Like, that's part of the current state of the feminine. She will not reveal herself until we make that choice. She will not show up in our bodies, in our lovers, outside of our world until we make the choice and we say, I have a level of devotion, right? We'll talk a lot more about that, I think. We'll see. Who knows? But I have a level of devotion where I'm willing to see you, I'm willing to feel you, I'm willing to literally bring your consciousness to her. Bring your consciousness to her. Bring your awareness, bring your presence. And that's just you bringing your focus to her. And so this moment in time of how much focus can you devote on her? This is her. This is feminine wisdom. This isn't her, me at all. This has nothing to do with me. This is you bringing your focus to feminine energy, divine feminine energy, sacred feminine energy, embodied wisdom energy, Shakti, the goddess, right? However we want to talk about it. But it's literally, she needs your consciousness. This is the state of the feminine right now. The current state of the feminine right now. She needs your consciousness, your focus, your awareness, your presence. That's it. This is like the number one. We'll go through a few of these different like tools, practices, tips. This is the number one. This is the first one. The most important one is literally turn the dial. It's like a radio dial, and what are you focused on? Just turn what your focus, your awareness, your attention, your consciousness on the feminine, on the goddess, right? It's that shutting off. And how do you do that here in this conversation? Shut off all the other distractions and just be fully here. Just be fully here. This whole conversation is devoted to the feminine. This whole conversation is this energy. And so that's all you have to do is just bring all of you, as much of you as you can, and staying there, staying present. She needs our presence. She needs our presence in order for her, in her current state, to continue to rise, to continue to gift us with all of the gifts that the feminine brings, which is enormous, and we'll talk a little bit about that. She needs our presence. She needs, we can talk about this from the divine masculine side of things. This is just one way of talking about it. She needs our consciousness, our presence, our focus, our awareness, and that's a level of devotion. So let's not get too hung up on that word devotion. I know that can be really trippy and mess people up. But really and truly, it's just giving her consciousness. That's it. That's it. Giving her our focus, our presence, our awareness. That's it. Okay, so that's number one. Current state of the feminine. What does she need the most? She needs that. Our attention. Our time, our attention, our consciousness, our presence. She needs that, right? Okay, let me feel. Current state of the feminine, she needs more space. She's bigger than we think she is. She is more than we think she is. She has more life force, more juice, more aliveness, more love than we think. She needs more room. She needs more space. She needs to be able to spread her wings and fly. Right? She's much, much bigger than we allow. We can bring this down to real human, tangible stuff where you hear women, often women, it can be anyone. Let's talk about it as a human being, because I just really don't want us to get caught in this gender trap, right? I don't want us to get caught in this woman trap. So it's anyone who ever feels like they're too much. Like, gosh, if I'm too much, if I really open up to the amount of emotions that move through me, it's going to be too much. Or if I was really to be fully me, it's going to be too much. I'm going to overwhelm my loved ones. I'm going to overwhelm myself. I'm going to overwhelm whatever. It's going to be too much. That's the feminine. That's the feminine. And she's not too much. She's not, that's our judgment. And that's why we limit. Can you feel that? Our judgment of being too much is why we limit her. And this current state is she needs more space. She's like, look, I have more love to give. I have more wisdom to bring in here. I have so much more. And I need more space to be able to do that. And so a big part of it to give her more space is to, let me feel, I really want to get these words right, is to really work with that particular judgment of being too much emotion, too much energy, too much love. I need too much. I long for too much. I crave for too much. Just the too muchness, right? Really working with that. Okay. Whew. So more space. That was point number 2, because she's bigger, and to give her the space to really watch our judgments around that, to stop limiting her expression. Let me feel for another moment. Okay, current state of the feminine. Point number 3 that I'd love to bring into this conversation is she's asking to not be kept separate. This is really, 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 really big, and I think a lot of us are going to start feeling this, where separate from our daily lives. It's like many of us are still treating her like the witch that we want to keep hidden away, the medicine woman that we want to keep hidden away, the sacred slut that we want to keep hidden away, and we'll allow her out. Just feel into this for your life. We'll allow her out when we're dancing in a woman's circle, or we're alone by ourselves in our house. We'll allow her out in certain situations, certain scenarios, but we're not allowing her to express in our more mundane daily lives. We're not allowing her into the boardroom. We're not allowing her into our family dynamics with our parents. We're not allowing her into our daily lives, right? To a degree, let me feel again for a quick moment. We say we're embodying. So a lot of us who've walked this path, we say, oh, I'm embodying the goddess. Yeah, in certain places, in like 2% of your life, or maybe 20% of your life. But the question is, where am I still denying my feminine gifts, my feminine intuition, my feminine knowing? Where am I still denying my feminine? Where am I still denying her? Where am I denying? Anytime we deny our intuition, we're denying the feminine. Anytime we deny a gut knowing, we're denying the feminine. Anytime we deny an emotion that's coming up in the moment, we're denying the feminine. Anytime, right? And it's a lot more than we think it is. We think we are expressing the feminine more than we actually are. That's just something for us all to feel into. Current state of the feminine, right? It's really this being asked to be honest about how much we still deny her in daily life situations, how much we deny her at work, how much we deny her with our partner, how much we deny her with our family, how much we deny her in whatever situations, right? So current state of the feminine, this real call to be honest be honest about our level of embodiment and expression into our lives. The feminine is not other than every aspect of our life. The feminine is life. She is life. She is every aspect of life. She is your health. She is your sex. She is your relationship. She is your career. She is how you create in the world. This kind of leads me to point number 4. Current state of the feminine. Really feeling this collective capacity to start to create more and more and more from a state of being, to really be leaning in, to really be developing this capacity to work with feminine magnetism, to attract in that which we are desiring to create, right? So instead of the doing, it's the being, right? Instead of creating from a state of masculine do, accomplish, right? Outward motion, it's the feminine, and it's cultivating this, right? This is current state of the feminine. Many people don't have this gift active in them, but it's waking up, and it's waking up fast, and we have this capacity to really work on it, to cultivate it, to nurture it, right? To practice. It takes practice, right? It takes waking this up in ourselves. It takes trusting this capacity in ourselves. It takes practicing it. It takes some work, right? But it's here, and it's here now, and I'm watching more and more and more and more individuals really be able to hone the skill of beingness as a way of creating, as a way of manifesting, as a way of making things happen in the physical world. It's not just, oh, my state of being can move things energetically. It's my state of beingness is so alive and so powerful that it literally moves the physical, right? It literally magnetizes things into my life. It has the capacity to move, to create, to manifest in physical form, right? But for us to be honest about that, most of us haven't embodied, it's that, let me feel for a moment. It's that this gift hasn't come online yet for many of us, but it's really starting to. Current state of the feminine, which is what we're talking about, it's really starting to come online. And it's really something that we can start to work more and 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 more with, right? We can really start to activate this in each other, for each other, with each other. It's an activation, it's a transmission, right? When we're around others who have this active and online and operational, it switches that on in others, right? That's what an awakening is. That's what an activation is. That's what a transmission is. And so that's really starting to come online for more and more individuals. So that's something for you to feel into. If that's, I don't know if that's what it will, I'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it there. Let me feel current state of the feminine here in 2023. Let me feel a little bit more. There has been this need for the feminine to release rage and pain and fear and a lot of the emotions that came with the oppression of the feminine. And it's been this real purification, this real need to roar, this real need to release the pissed offness or the tears, the grief, the pain, all of those things, this real need for it. It's been beautiful to move this stuck emotion, this stuck energy in whatever form it's been in. Current state of the feminine now, though, is, you ready for it? Get over it. Enough already. Enough. Raging it out. Enough crying it out. Enough feeling, enough needing to be seen. This is the big part. It's not that we don't still have grief or fear or pain to move through, but enough needing to be seen in it. Enough needing to get attention for it. Enough. Can you feel that? This is a tough one and it's a tricky one. It's the current state of the feminine though, right? It's the current state. It's like, yes, she went through her healing. She went through this phase, and I'm talking collectively. We're all at different states here, but really and truly, we all have this capacity to jump on this collective wave now and move much quicker than we ever have because of the current state of the feminine, because of the amount of work that's been done, because of where collective human consciousness has gotten to. You can literally jump to where it's at now and not have to work so gosh darn hard, right? Like some of us who've been in the feminine for fucking decades, we've had to work really, really hard. And it's different now. And you've got this opportunity to jump to where it's at now, which now it's about the expression of the feminine out into every aspect of our lives. Yeah, we might have to go through some little bit of purifying, little bit of puking it out, little bit of crying it out, but certainly not the years and years and years of it that some of us had to go through. Some of us, we have this choice to make this quick leap to start expressing really high level feminine energy into our lives. But we're choosing to stay in victim. We're choosing, this is hard. This is a hard one to admit to. It's a very hard one to admit to. We're choosing to stay in that state because we are somehow getting power from it. If I stay in the state of woe is me, poor me, I'm a victim, we are somehow sourcing attention or power or something. We're getting something from playing that out. We're getting something from staying in that state. And we're choosing to stay in that state because of what we're getting, right? Attention, power, some form of love, right? Or we think it's some form of love, probably not a high level love, right? Probably not the level of love that we could start to receive, we could start to be held by, we could start to tap into when we move out of having to puke out the pain, puke out the rage, puke out the grief, and into, let me just feel for a quick moment, into that high level feminine energy moving through us. And it's literally asking ourselves the question, how does love want to express through me in this moment? How does light and love, grace want to express through me and out into the world in this moment? How does love want to move through me and out into the world? How does love want to move through me and out into the world? How is love moving me? How is love moving me? Can you feel that? That's different. That's different. Focusing on that, this stuff, the oppressed stuff, the stuck emotions, the pain and the grief and the whatever, it just kind of easefully moves through our systems. Right? It's like becoming this channel for grace and this channel for love. It just innately moves those things versus us focusing on those things and amplifying them. That might be a tough one. That might not be something that you're singing with or resonating with. And I totally respect that, but just, you gotta feel for what's true for you. You gotta feel for what's true for you and what serves. Okay. Let me feel current state of the feminine. What else? I have a whole lot of things that I was meditating on and writing this morning, but it's really in this moment what serves, and that's why I keep pausing. So in case you're wondering, what is she doing? It's just my way of feeling into what most serves this moment. Current state of the feminine. It's letting go of timelines. It's letting go of 10-year plans, 5-year plans, 1-year plans. It's really starting to open up this wisdom within us, this knowing within us, this state of consciousness within us that really allows us to live from a place of everything is interconnected to everything and everything is changing in the moment. This decision made over here in Africa has rippled out in the whole web of life and is now touching things over here. So the only way that I can make a decision to serve this moment in my life or my family's lives or whatever, the only way that I can make a decision is from this moment in time, in this place in time right now. What was true a day ago, a week ago, a month ago is not necessarily what's true now. It's exactly what I'm doing in this conversation, right? Why I was just talking about, I'm pausing to feel into things, because what was true 3 hours ago when I first started to write about this conversation and meditate on it, that might not be what serves this moment, right? And so it's really developing this capacity, current state of the feminine. Again, it comes back to this presence. Point number one, being so present, so in the moment, and allowing life force to move through us in the present moment, what wants to be created, learning this capacity and trusting, surrendering into the present moment and trusting what is it that wants to be created now? What is it that wants to unfold now? What is it that wants to come through me now? What is it that most serves this moment? How does love want to move through me now? With zero attachment to the past and zero attachment to the future. Just right here, right now, what is it that's being created? The feminine is a creative force, and this current state of the feminine is really showing us that the creative force and the power in the creative force is only in the present moment. That's it. We lose power when we're future projecting. We lose power when we're still operating from the past. This is where the juice is at. This is where the magic is at. It's right here. This is how we create, right? It's right here in this moment, and us really leaning into and learning that and living from that. It's not just a mental thing. Remember at the start of this conversation, it was let all of these wisdom centers in our body switch on, right? Let this be a conversation that's happening on many, 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 many levels. Let this possibly be a really great awakening to some very deep wisdom. A lot of this wisdom is like deeply imprinted in our systems. Another piece of current state of the feminine is that some of this will feel like ancient wisdom waking up. It's a remembering of ancient wisdom, this new earth, this new sacred technologies, for some of us it can feel like that. For others of us, it can feel like this is just actually really ancient. This is really ancient wisdom, and it's allowing this to just wake up. It's like the blueprint in ourselves to wake up. Something else, current state of the feminine, demanding, current state of the feminine, demanding that you stand in your authenticity and your uniqueness, your unique blueprint, your unique potentials, your highest potentials, right? Demanding that you not only stand in them, but you live them. You live them. It's not just, oh, let me tap into them and journal about them in secret. The feminine is about the embodiment and the expression outward into life, right? So it's this demand, current state of the feminine, demanding, like, who are you? Your authentic, your uniqueness, state of the feminine. The feminine is soul, and it's an embodied soul. It's a calling in the soul, embodying the soul to a deeper and deeper level. The uniqueness, the gloriousness, the strangeness, the esoteric gifts that are only yours to be embodied and then to be expressed out through you into the world, right? That's current state of the feminine in all aspects of your life. All aspects of your life. That's current state of the feminine. That's what's happening. That's what we're being asked. There's this like feminine warrior piece, feminine warrior. This is not old school warrior. This is a new level. It takes courage. It takes bravery to do this. It takes bravery to be in this state of being. It takes bravery to embody your soul that much. That's a feminine warrior. It's embodying your soul that much. It's allowing feminine wisdom, the feminine interconnectedness of the all of everything, the feminine power to create, the feminine power of life force to move through you, to run through you. That takes warrior strength. This is a strength to be able to wield feminine power authentically, deeply, sacredly. It takes an enormous amount of strength. The feminine is not, it's not some soft, weak, whimpery thing, right? She is the force of fucking nature. She's Mother Nature, right? Mother Nature comes and decides to wipe out a fucking town with a tornado. Whoosh! She wipes out a town with a tornado. Ain't nobody stopping Mother Nature, right? That's the feminine. That's the feminine. That is a force. And we're at a place, right? Current state of the feminine. We're at a place where we are learning, or we have a possibility to surrender over to that more and more and more. It's like surrendering into the power. We don't control that power within us. That's what limits it. It is not learning to wield it. It's not learning to control it. It's learning to surrender over to work with it, right? That's the wielding of the power, is a letting go into it and a surrendering over to it, right? But that takes a huge letting go. It takes this, I don't need to go into that. That's a whole nother episode, a whole nother topic. I want to very much stick to current state of the feminine. Let me feel for a moment. Feminine sexuality. This one. How is it that we are still demonizing creative sexual essence? How is it that this is still being demonized? How is it that the very energy that creates new life is still holds so much shame and guilt and pain around it, right? Current state of the feminine, it's allowing the fullness of our sexual energy to be a part of our sacredness, of our gift to the world, of who we are, of what fuels us, it is our vitality. It is our life force. It is a fountain of youth energy. It is what fuels our passions. It is what fuels our work in the world. It's what fuels our love. And it's this, what is it that we can do to come into next right relationship with our sexual energy, next right relationship. And that's what we always want to think about, because it's a constant evolution. It's a constant deepening in. It's a constant, right? Next right relationship, next right relationship. It's a spiral. It's not just a one and done. Oh, I did, a little bit of work with my sexual energy. I'm good to go. It's a constant spiral, because there's more and more and more and more and more. There's more sex magic. There's more gifts to reclaim. There's more sacredness in our sexuality to reclaim. There's more and 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 more. And so really feeling into, wow, being honest. What is my relationship to my sexual energy? What is my relationship? Is there shame? Is there pain? Is there guilt? Do I hide it? Do I bury it? Has it been dead for a long time? And what can I do to start to change that? And it doesn't matter what age we are. It doesn't matter what age we are, right? It's not trying to make it something that it's not. It's not trying to make it something that it's not. It's coming into the raw, organic essence of it, right? It's next right relationship. It's next right relationship to our sexuality. Let me feel current state of the feminine. This might be the one that we end on. I feel like this is maybe where we end our conversation on is, let me feel. There's a feminine no that we're able to really awaken in ourselves. There's a fierce feminine. The fierce feminine. When we're looking to really create healthier boundaries, when we're looking to really reclaim our voice, to be able to speak our truth, to be able to say no, to be able to feel a no, to be able to say no with love and with an open heart, to be able to create a boundary, but a boundary with an open heart, a boundary where we're not shutting down, we're not closing down in order to say no to something or in order to create some space to put something at the right distance away from us. There's a way. It's very powerful. It's extraordinarily powerful. And this is what's possible now in the current state of the feminine, is to stay completely feminine flow, open, right? Love moving through, no. But open, no. To be able to speak a no, to be able to speak a truth without turning away, without closing down, without being nasty, without causing pain. Really and truly, right? We might hurt feelings, we might hurt egos, but deep pain I'm talking about, true pain I'm talking about, right? So this feminine capacity, let me feel. So when this comes up, it's like talking about the full spectrum of the feminine, right? And one way of talking about it is like the different faces of the feminine, right? So there's like the lover aspect, there's the medicine woman witch aspect, there's the mother aspect, right? There's all kinds of different aspects that we can work on. And then there's this fierce feminine, this like dark goddess energy, right? And it's the gifts held within the fierce feminine, the truth that's held there, the knowing, the ability, the strength, the ability to say no, but to stay in an open place, the ability to know when to say no, the discernment. Many of us haven't quite developed discernment, like discerning a yes from a no, discerning what's true, discerning what the next soul truth move is, discerning, right? Discerning self from other. That's a huge one, right? Discerning when we're taking on too much, discerning when we're giving away too much, discerning when we're not self-caring enough, discerning, right? It's this discernment piece, and that's something, current state of the feminine is really bringing that online, this capacity and this possibility to really bring that online. Let me feel. What can I share? How do we do all of this? Like, sure, Sabrina, it's great that you've talked about the current state of the feminine and what's possible. How, right? How? And the greatest thing that I can say to that is your how will be your how, right? Your how has to come from that feminine intuitive knowing within. That feminine knowing of, I'm called to this program. You were called to this podcast and you're still here, right? Like if there wasn't some sort of resonance happening, you wouldn't be here. And it might not be mind rational logical. So if there's anything that I can say is, when a lot of individuals show up in a ReWilding workshop with me, it's I don't know why I'm here. I just felt like I needed to be here. That's the feminine inside talking. I just intuitively knew. It was a gut feel. I don't know how I know. and it doesn't make any sense. I don't know how I got here, but I know I need to be here, or it's a gut feel. It's an intuitive feel. So trusting those gut feels, trusting that, not second guessing ourselves, not overriding with the mind, with the logic, the ration. Let the logic, the ration, let the mind sit behind the intuition. Let the mind sit behind the soul knowings, right? The deeper callings, the deeper wisdom. Let the mind be servant to the higher wisdom that's in you, right? And so following where you're called, when you're called, what you're called to, right? And really feeling it and trusting it. Let me feel. A lot of working with feminine energy is, it's embodied, right? It's not reading a book unless that book is dripping with Shakti, dripping with energy. It's most likely not reading about something. It's most likely not cognizing something with the mind. It's experiencing something. It's experiencing something. It's feeling something. It's experiential journeys. It's embodied journeys. It's practices. It's working with others who let me just feel. I want to get these words right, because obviously I do this, right? And obviously there are ReWilding programs, and there are workshops, and there are retreats, and you'll find some down below. There might even be like a coupon code or a sale on some, or something going on, right? We've always got like beautiful wild offerings going on in ReWilding. So just look below if you're feeling it. But I'm trying to get these words right. When you find someone who resonates with you, or a space that resonates with you, that's kind of rare-ish, right? Like, it's kind of few and far between. For most of us. But when we do find the resonance, right? When something is vibrating us alive a little bit more, stirring us, even triggering us. I know some of my greatest teachers and greatest experiences have been when I felt really activated and not in like a love and light, blissful, ecstatic kind of a way, right? But they have been the most transformative, greatest awakenings for me. That is sometimes how the feminine rolls, right? Is not necessarily comfortable, because she's asking you to embody it. She's asking you to bring the divine through your whole body, no parts left out, into your whole life, no parts left out. That's triggery. It's hard. That's what? You want, what? But that's the gift, right? That's the gift. That's also, for the feminine, that's fullness. That's so full. And the feminine is always craving to feel full, to feel loved, to feel full of love, feel so full of light, and so full of love, and so full of joy and pleasure and bliss, that it just literally, my cup floweth over, my cup runneth over. Like, I'm so full that it's just oozing out of me. It's oozing beyond me. And that's what this opening up to that degree of the feminine brings, is that fullness, that like deep craving that the feminine always feels to be full, always feels to be met, always feels to be loved. We deny it, We deny it, we hide it, we numb it, we pretend like it's not there because it's so painful. It's often so painful that we do not go near that longing. But what if you were to be honest with yourself and be like, what do I most deeply crave? If I were to go into my heart, the depths of my heart, if I were to go down into my heart and back into my heart, right? So go into your heart, down, depths of your heart, and then go back a little bit. What is in that place in your heart? Just feel for a moment and holding this energy around yourself, like, I'm so okay to feel what I'm longing for. I'm so okay to feel what's here. I'm okay. It's okay for me to feel this. It's okay if it brings tears. It's okay if it makes me feel vulnerable. It's okay if it hurts. It's okay if I feel like, oh my God, I don't want to feel this because it's going to overwhelm me. That's where the magic is at. That's where the magic is at. Being able to go there, being able to feel that, that's part of the state of being. That's part of how we work with feminine magnetism. Everyone wants feminine magnetism, but they don't want to do what it takes to get there. They don't want to feel what they have to feel in order to be able to magnetize, because we magnetize from the longing. Authentic, deep, true longing. Not fake longing, not vision board fucking longing. I long for a yacht. Bullshit. You don't long for a yacht. You long for something way beyond the yacht, right? But once we are able to access this place, this is where that magic happens. The alchemy of the feminine, the magnetism, the capacity to create from a state of being. I don't have to lift a finger. I don't lift a finger. But we have to be able to be so honest, go so deep, be so real, be so vulnerable about it, right? Just that. If any of this sings to you, there's programs below. There's some dark goddess stuff, I'm sure, that you can find below. There's a sexual healing and awakening retreat that's online. You can find that below. There's some other things that might sing to you as an offering. Again, check for a coupon code. If there's one listed, I would jump on it because they are always kind of limited availability. Also, some of these retreats are only open certain periods of time, so just check the description. It'll be up to date. And if something's calling to you from that deep true place, right, not from mind place, but from that deep true intuitive place, trust it. Whatever that is, whether it be a walk out in nature, or it just be you going into your own kind of practice, or it be one of the programs listed below, but following that, right? That's the greatest thing that we can do for ourselves. All right. So much love to you. It is amazing to be here with you. I'm always in the comments the first couple days after a video comes out. So if there's anything you want to share with me, I would love to witness it. I would love to be with it. I would love to take it into my heart. After that, the ReWilding team is always reading comments, and so everything still kind of comes back in different ways or forms, but it would be really beautiful to hear from you if there's anything you feel to share. It's a two-way, it's a co-creation, right? This is a two-way thing, and your comments mean a lot, and they also help to create what comes next. So, all right. So much love to you. I will see you when I see you, where I see you, and how I see you.